Hello, everybody, and welcome to MACHTAILS from the Cantina Live. This is a Wednesday Hump Day special edition, impromptu style. I'm actually slumming it tonight. I'm drinking Coors Light. I know that should not be on film, should it? Hey, this is a very, very special edition. I am going to bring on a friend of mine, Barry Harmon, to talk about a white elephant in the room, Gina Carano. Speaking about white elephants, that's exactly how I feel about my Patreon campaign. I will post a photo of a picture in my hallway down here in the Wampa Cave where I am amongst 30 years worth of my Star Wars collecting habit. And I'll post something about my Patreon page and it'll be like crickets in the room. So, hey, guys, quit being so cheap. For $5, you're going to get more content than you can choke a horse with. And besides, you're the same guys, I believe, that might have paid $19.77 for a DVD of The Force Among Us not too long ago. Maybe you didn't buy the DVD because it's sold out. You missed out on the opportunity. So you're watching my documentaries on Amazon Prime because they're free with your membership. But anyways, man, hey, I want to thank everybody that supported my works and my show up until this point. And don't forget, this Friday, I'm doing a live show. If you're a Patreon member, you get to interact with us, and you also get to be entered into a contest where you win something live on the show, but you must be present to win. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to bring on an old friend of mine, Barry Harmon of the Babu Freaks. Barry, how are you, my friend?
Good. I like that slide in. I was trying to wiggle with it like I actually did slide in.
Hey, I want to give it now, Barry, you have your own Patreon thing going on right now.
That's right. Yeah,
Sega
Bits.
Bit on Sega, the video games.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to tell people a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Sega Bits. I've been doing it for 11 years as of like a week ago. I am not the founder, but I'm definitely like the second banana with everything. We've just been covering news. It was, like when blogging was a thing. I guess it's not anymore. Now it's all about like YouTube and TikTok and stuff. But we would post articles, long form, short form, written interviews. And then we started to move into YouTube, podcasts. And then we set up a Patreon, and it was just completely dedicated to podcasting and putting out videos. And so every 2 weeks we cover a nostalgic Sega title, or it could even be something released like a few years ago. And we talk about the history of it. It's fun. But I helped you with Tears. I helped you with...
you not only did you help me with Tears, but you created the artwork for MACHTAILS.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. I got it here. I got the coaster there. Look at that.
Yes. Hey, and those coasters, you get, man, for your membership on Patreon, you get coasters, you get this cool bottle opener that I just happen to have right here, And this was all created by Barry. Now, I got to tell you, why Barry on the show? Okay, so I asked my friend Brian Klein, who's a member of the Babu Freaks, and I want to make this disclaimer.
Hey.
The Babu Freaks is it's an exclusive of RFR's Rebel Force Radio's Patreon. So after you join my Patreon, you got a couple bucks left, head over there, drop some money on their Patreon, and get this exclusive content. But anyways, Brian had said, I would love to come on and talk about Gina's situation and how he feels about it. And it really is a white elephant in the room. It's the thing that we love to maybe either listen about and don't talk about, or talk about and we don't want to hear other people's opinions. But he had mentioned that you would be a better candidate.
Interesting.
Come on to the show
because he doesn't want to get in trouble. That's why.
So you're like me. You got the big balls. You don't care. You have nothing to lose. People already know our reputation is somewhat tainted anyway.
Right.
But hey, okay. So real quick, in a nutshell, my thing about Gina Carano is okay, it's not about politics really anymore. I think the nail in the coffin was, the way that I understand it, was her well, you could say it's political related, because she said being a Republican is very much like being a Jewish person during the Holocaust. Now, I could be totally wrong, but that's what I understand. And I think that is taken one step too far. Okay, support Trump, hate Trump, that's besides the point. She's got a platform. She's used it. Okay, I recommended this movie not too long ago, 5 Nights in Miami. 1 night in Miami, I should say, not 5 nights in Miami.
That'd be nice.
But,
I could use a vacation.
You know, I would say that the thing is that it reminded me of, you know, Malcolm X wanted people to use their platform. Okay, no matter who they are or what they are talking about, use your power, use your platform. Mm-hmm. I feel like Gina did that, but I feel like when she started talking about the Holocaust, it was like, okay, you know, this is we got to cut ties here. I want to get your opinion on this because Brian said you're highly recommended.
Oh boy. Well, I don't know. We'll see. But so what was her exact comment? Because I feel like it's said that she made these comparisons. But
I think that's and you know what? A lot of that stuff gets lost. That's why a lot of the claims that I make, I say as far as the way that I understand it.
Right.
And I could be totally wrong.
So here I found it now.
You know,
so if we're going to discuss her words, we should read her words, I figure. Right?
And I would say read her final words that were the nail in the coffin.
Well, this is what she posted. She said, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Sad face. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? I mean, we could have like a 2-hour-long discussion about that whole thing, but I mean,
did you really have to bring in being compared to Jewish people? I mean,
well, I mean, not that I'm a expert or anything, but I did visit the Holocaust Museum when I was in Washington, D.C. And that is, wow, that's like a life-changing kind of experience. It's just the truth bombs they drop on you there, the visuals you see. It really, I mean, I know the things, I know it's real, I know it happened, but when you're there confronted by it, it's really something. And there was they have like an exhibit that rotates out, and there was an exhibit about just the propaganda that were being fed to people to get to that point. So it was like, look at these books, these magazines that are like 10 years before the event, pushing these lies pretty much onto people and getting them to accept it as fact. And you have to, I mean, and this is just talking about the Holocaust and that situation. This is not it wasn't a story of neighbors and the government. There were people who were your neighbors who were Nazis. They were members of the Nazi party. They might not be serving in the government, but for them to be supporting the lies that they were spreading and turning on their Jewish neighbors, that does not, the fact that they weren't in the government does not absolve them of those sins.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Now, I do not think that what happened then is a valid comparison for now. I think there actually are good people who support the Republican Party, and I think there are good people who support the Democratic Party and whatever other party, whatever left, right side, whatever. However, as soon as you get into any hateful rhetoric, you're on the wrong side of history. Like you can't go, well, he hates black people, like you can't, so it's just, and that's why her comparison just got really strange, because it's like, well, why do you think in your own head, why do you think that this comparison is being made? Like, are you saying that people should be able to have hateful, hurtful opinions and not suffer any repercussions? And do you think those repercussions are violence against you? Because let's be honest, losing your job or getting removed from Twitter is not the same as being sent to a gas chamber, you know?
Right.
And so,
yeah, and I'm laughing at that because I use my laugh, as you guys know, you guys have seen the show, as a crutch to lean on. But yeah, you cannot make that comparison, you know?
And so, I mean, I don't want to say I feel for her. I guess I'm saying I don't feel for her because I don't agree with her comparison. And I think it's a very poor comparison to make. The mere fact that, you know, people who she supports politically are still in power in many places and still making decisions in this country kind of deflates her whole opinion there. There is no Nazi party in control of America. It's a two-party system. It bounces back and forth. Sure, Democrats control the presidency, House, and Senate right now, but as we are seeing, as evidence, people in the Republican Party still have their own vote and their own opinions that can shape law and shape the country. And so, you know, those people are not being silenced. They have a microphone. I mean, you see people going up with a face mask that says censored, but they're standing in front of a microphone that's going out to every major news outlet. So are you being censored? I don't think so. So I feel like I feel like Gina is just kind of feeding into this, like, in my opinion, false narrative of what is happening right now. And she's making a false equivalency to Nazi Germany. And, you know, okay, now let's take all of that, push it aside. Disney has the most popular Star Wars thing under their brand. Now, I know you wish it was Rogue One. And it is coming around.
Come soon.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get Andor soon enough. But the mere fact that she is just talking about Nazis, even if she was not making a terrible comparison, even if she was just continually bringing up Nazis, Disney would say to her, can you please stop talking about Nazis? It's not good for our brand. And I don't recall what her final comment was after all this, but she was saying, like, I am free. I feel freer than ever now. I feel like I can say anything. And it's like, lady, that's not a good thing. Like, you know, like, sure, it's great to, I guess it might feel great to be completely unchained from your former boss to say whatever you want, but there's still going to be repercussions. And also, hateful rhetoric is hateful rhetoric. Like, I'm not talking about this as being hateful rhetoric, but just some of the transphobic stuff she said really, I think, rubbed Disney the wrong way. I read an article, I think it was Hollywood Reporter, and they were talking about how Disney was really trying to appeal more towards minorities, groups that are underrepresented. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm glad the Hollywood Reporter mentioned that, but the way they phrased it, it almost was like Disney was either had a choice of embracing someone making these hateful comments or not being a hateful corporation. And it just was a very strange thing, because it's like, when I wake up in the morning, I'm not making a decision to not hate people. I just think that's the right thing to do. It's not right.
It's good ethics. It's the way,
right.
It's the way we were raised.
It's good ethics. And so I think it's very strange that this article I read, I think it was Hollywood Reporter, was more acting like Disney made this decision. I don't think the company, I mean, I know Walt Disney was a pretty terrible guy, but in the past, you know, few decades, I don't think the company from the top is like, hey, we're a bunch of racists, but let's keep that quiet and let's pretend that we care about Black people and white and women and transgendered people. Like, you know, it's just, and so basically when you have a member of, I mean, she's not a member of staff, and I want to get into that real quick too in a second. But when you have someone like that making these comments and they tell her to stop and she doesn't, of course she's going to lose her job. And I'm just kind of, it's sad because she's not learning any lesson from this. Instead, she's like, I'm going to go super hard in these opinions now. and we've got quasi film studios coming at her now and giving her deals. But let's be honest, like it's not really a film studio. And let's
Well,
let me just mention.
let's be honest.
I know. Yeah.
Gina Carano's acting is not top notch.
Right.
You know, I mean, hey,
I'm getting a little worked up here, but
I'm a happily married man, but she is very, very attractive. I'm attracted to this woman, right?
Right.
Not necessarily what she says and what comes out of her mouth, but just her looks. But I got to tell you, man, I think the thing is that Disney did not fire her because of her political stance. Disney, who knows? Maybe that had a little bit to do with it, but I still think that comment about Nazi Germany and Jewish people during that time, that was, if she didn't make any posts about anything before that, and that was her first post, she would have been canned.
No. I don't think they let her go for her political affiliation. I think they let her go for making comparisons to Nazi Germany. Yeah. And I guess the point I was trying to get across is I don't agree with the comparisons she's making just in terms of it being a good comparison. But even if she was making the comparison to something else and it might seem a little more valid, even if it was completely unrelated, she's like, hey, Costco not giving me a discount because I'm on The Mandalorian kind of feels like we're living in Nazi Germany, people in Nazi Germany, like if she did that, she would be in just as much trouble, I think, because it's just kind of a no-no, like you don't make comparisons to Nazi Germany when you have that many Twitter followers and that big of a megaphone, and Disney's not going to keep you on. Right. Another point I just wanted to make, I watch Star Wars for Star Wars. I don't watch Star Wars for the stars. Like you can see this, you can kind of see it, the Rise of Skywalker poster behind me. I'm looking at it right now. Every single actor on there, I did not come to Star Wars for them. And if they go off and do something else, 9 times out of 10, I'm not watching what they're doing. Like I could care less about Daisy Ridley's new movie that had a trailer come out. I could care less about John Boyega's latest movie. I mean, looking at that poster, the only person, Billy D. Williams, is probably the only one that I would be mildly interested in seeing in something else. So when everyone's like, well, not everyone, but when there are some people going, hey, great, good for her. She's leaving. She's doing something else. I could care less what project she's doing. I don't care what studio she's doing it for. She is not a talent that I think I could give 2 shits about outside of Star Wars,
Yeah, right.
And that's no slight to her. That's kind of how I feel about most people in Star Wars. Well, I know you love Rogue One, but it's not like you're going to jump off and watch every single one of those actors' other movies. Because
I actually started to do that.
Oh, you did? And then you're insane.
Because I started to do that because I remember when Episode 1 had come out, I saw every Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson movie and Sam Jackson movie up to that point. I had a man crush on Ewan McGregor. And you know how that started? By seeing him as Obi-Wan Kenobi. I got to see all these other movies that these people were in. But that's besides the point. But you do make a very good point on, she's going to go off and do better things. Again, her acting talent is not superstar, man.
What is her other thing going to be with this studio? Because someone told me their last feature was about a school shooting. Like, do people really want a Gina Carano movie probably about modern drama? Do I really want to watch a movie? Like, I'm just spitballing here. Let's say single mother Gina Carano works at a school and she makes some politically charged statements and gets fired. And the whole movie is about her going to court and fighting the system and, showing everyone that she's in charge and she can do what she wants. Like, does that sound like a great movie? I don't know. Right. She's not going to make a sci-fi movie. She's not the next George Lucas. Like, imagine that. The movie they make is like, it's like a Cara Dune spinoff, all but in name. So it's like Jira, Spoon, and the Mandalorians or Buddy, and I don't know. You mentioned other projects from other people in Rogue One, And one thing I did want to bring up with you, so we could not talk about Gina Carano all the time, was,
that's why you're on the show tonight.
I know, but I wanted to bring this up. So Godzilla versus Kong is coming out. I've been rewatching those movies. I rewatched 2014's Godzilla from, you know who directed that, right? Yeah. So I was watching it. It's insane how many comparisons to Rogue One are in that movie. It feels like you're watching Rogue One, the Godzilla story.
Well, no, that was Gareth Edwards' first flick that he did, or did he do Monsters first?
He did Monsters first, and then he got the Godzilla gig because of that. But like, just like, check this out. So the movie kicks off with a flashback to the little kid who's the star of the movie later on. Mother and father. Mother gets killed. Father is living in agony, and then kind of goes into some sort of like disappears or goes into exile. The little kid doesn't see him again. Flash forward. The kid's a fighter. They are angry about the past. They're angry about what their father did and what he was connected to. Blames them for the death of their mother, and then they reunite, and then the father gets killed suddenly, like in the first third of the movie or first half of the movie, and then the kid blames this thing that the father worked towards, or at least contributed to. You know what I mean? Like, it's already sounding like Rogue One.
Right.
And the movie even ends with like an atomic blast, but the difference is that the main characters don't die. So,
that's pretty crazy.
And if you compare the Death Star to Godzilla, like they're weapons of destruction, the difference is the Death Star is an evil thing, and Godzilla turns out to be a good thing, So I don't know. I don't know. I just think about Godzilla a lot.
Well, hey, you know what? I got to go back and check that out. And hey, I want to thank you, Barry, for joining me. This is definitely an impromptu live episode that we've done tonight. We actually decided to go live about a half an hour ago. And I want to remind people, hey, what are you drinking tonight, by the way?
I'm drinking Fat Tire.
Fat Tire. That was one of the old craft beers that I was first introduced to.
It's good stuff.
I want to remind everybody to go check out Barry's Sega Bits Patreon page.
It's on YouTube too.
The Babu Freaks are courtesy of Rebel Force Radio. They are also on Patreon. And hey, guys, you definitely want to join my page. Hey, Barry, now you're shelling out money for my Patreon. How do you? I'm not even shelling out money for your Patreon, man. Do you feel like you're getting your bang for your buck?
Yeah, it's almost like I'm like, oh man, another one. Like I check and I get another podcast. It's great. I love it. It's always nice to have someone to talk to me. I can't talk back, though. It does feel like we're on a phone call and you just won't answer me. You keep talking and I go, yeah, great, right, Chris. Right. Yeah.
Wait, hey, this Friday I'm doing Mocktails from the Cantina, episode 2 live. Episode 2 live.
Attack of the Clones.
Still doing the free YouTube shows. They're down to once a month. And when you join Patreon, you get your name entered into a contest where we draw the lucky name on the show to win a prize. And you also get to interact with me as well. So, hey, man, thank you again, Barry. I appreciate your time, your support, your talent, and your insight. And I hope you guys enjoyed this impromptu version of Mocktails from the Cantina. You guys be safe, wash your hands, and take care of each other because nobody else will. All right, man, good. Have a good night, man.
Good night.
See you next time on Mocktails from the Cantina. So long, everybody.
Bye.